LTS.com. Remember the name, LTS.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. They say America is the melting pot or the salad bowl, whatever metaphor
melting
you want,
pot. I'll go with melting
you
pot,
want to
yeah.
use.
Food.
New York, where I grew up, is a melting pot of the world, of the melting pot. And Florida is like a melting pot of the melting. In other words, there's people here from every walk of life, and and that includes all ethnicities, all religions, and whenever you hear people in the news who are condemning one religion over another, yeah, I know. You have to say to yourself, do they not have any friends that are Muslim? Do they not have any friends that are Jewish? I mean, how is it possible that you believe the news and you believe the rhetoric of people who want you to hate people just because of who they, what religion they may be? I mean, there are people who believe that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hate them because
obviously,
I do.
Obviously. Sharifi Brown, I hope I said her name right. She was born a Shiite Muslim in Iran. She converted to Christianity in school. She married a Jewish American family, or into a Jewish American. She didn't marry the whole family.
Oh, yeah, right.
And she has lived all three of the Abrahamic religions. Not too many people can say that.
I know, I wasn't able to.
Her book is called The 7 Commandments for Happiness and Prosperity. Do you know what we said when we first read this? Boy, the food must be good in her house.
Yeah, you're right.
All that background, the food must be good. Shari, good morning, Shari. How you doing?
Good morning, Larry. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from? You're out in California, right?
We're in California, yes.
Oh, wow.
Not too bad.
Thank you for getting up early.
It's beautiful here.
So is the food really good? I mean, you must have every ethnicity on the table. You must have meatloaf and curry or something.
Matzo balls.
I cannot complain about the food.
So let me ask you this. The thing we always wonder about is when a woman, and you're a woman, marries out of the religion. Did you have a hard time early in your life?
No.
Not at all.
Because my parents were not really religious per se. Since it was my second marriage, and so was my husband's second marriage, so we were pretty grown up. Nobody really bothered us about religion.
Okay, and do you think that contributes to that open? See, when I was a kid, I don't remember. I knew kids who were Jewish. I knew kids who were. I don't remember any Muslim kids, to be honest, in my neighborhood. But I mean, I know them now, and I don't remember giving it two thoughts. Until all this stuff started happening with ISIS and all that. That's when it really starts to come to mind. But that doesn't represent Muslims any more than Nazis represented Germans.
Yes, but because it's misunderstood. When I came to the United States in 1967 to go to college, and I studied engineering, there were hardly any Iranians, or people didn't really know that much about Islam. But I always had questions in my head. From childhood, I was studying people to see what makes people happy, what makes rich people unhappy, what makes poor people happy. And this happened until it came 1979, Islamic Revolution. And when I witnessed the horror of war and how these people atrociously bring these young people and send them home with body parts missing, that was utterly disturbing to me.
I'm sure it was.
Yes. Yes.
Is that when you moved out? I mean,
No. I moved out way before the revolution in '67.
Okay.
I went to Iran after I finished college in 1976, and I came back in '83 because revolution happened in 1979. When revolution happened, and I saw what Muslims do, it made me interested to read and study the three Abrahamic religions, and I studied Old Testament, New Testament, and Quran. I have been reading and studying and trying to implement them for over 25 years. And what I realized that the similarity of these three religions outweighs the differences. So I consolidated the commandments, the 10 commandments of Moses, the 2 commandments of Jesus, and 7 commandments of Muhammad, and came up with 7 commandments by disposing of the redundancy of the 19 of.
I'm curious to find out. You know what? I heard that. Now I'm not an expert at all on religion, let alone the Quran, but I heard that the Quran has, where the Old Testament has 10 commandments, the Quran has 9, and it leaves out. Oh gosh, which one does it leave out? I can't remember. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, but if you combine everything that all these prophets are trying to tell us, or God is trying to convey to us through His messengers, you realize that the 7 commandments that I wrote is the essence of the whole thing.
To be happy.
To be happy, to be prosperous.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard thing for people to get. I've thought this many times, that if God says you shall not commit adultery, that's for your own happiness. If He says you shouldn't covet somebody else's whatever, that's for your happiness, right? You're going to be happier if you just kind of happy with what you have.
Happy with what. If you have a serene soul, you're happy. If you follow the tenets of the 7 commandments, and if you pray every day, not necessarily in a synagogue, in a church, or in a mosque, not necessarily Friday, Saturday, Sunday. God is always here for us to look upon and ask Him. If you pray and if you follow the 7 commandments, you'll be happy. And when you're happy, you become more resourceful and innovative and creative. And
when you're happy and you know it, that's when you clap your hands.
That's right. So all of this prosperity comes from first having faith, listening to communication of God, understanding it, following it, to have a serene soul, to be happy, and that would make you prosperous. Implementing them.
And how do you define prosperous? We've had this discussion before about success. Like, what is success? And it's different for everybody. So,
that's right.
Is prosperous the same thing?
But there is no dollar amount you can put on prosperity, but prosperous is really what you feel, whatever your perception of prosperity is. Yeah. Somebody may want 12 children to feel prosperous. Somebody may want a 500-foot yacht. It's all your own perception. But if you don't try, the first condition for becoming prosperous, financially especially, is to stop desiring it. Stop desiring it.
Well, that's and that's a proverb. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. That's an easy one to recognize. Do you know what always drives me nuts is when you have people who say turn away from material goods, and they've got a house full of material goods. In the song "Imagine" by John Lennon, he says, "Imagine no possessions," and he had a ton of possessions.
Right, but that doesn't mean he was desiring them. You know, there's nothing wrong with living a luxury life if you don't do it in the expense of the other people, if you pay the poor dues, if you wipe somebody's tears, if you inconvenience yourself to go see a lonely person, if you don't become proud thinking that you did it all on your own.
Yeah,
There's no sin into living a nice life.
Yeah, that's true. I'm loving this conversation. It's very philosophical, but we haven't gotten to the real heart of it yet, and I would like to take a break, and then when we come back, get to the heart of the book, The 7 Commandments for Happiness and Prosperity. Sharifi Brown is on the phone. Am I saying your name?
Pronounced it perfectly.
Did I do it right? Okay, good. So we'll
yes.
we'll take a little break. Joe and I'll be back with Shari when we come back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny and warm today. Thunderstorm in parts of the area Thursday afternoon. The high 86 at the coast, 92 inland. And fair skies Thursday night, low 65 inland, 72 at the coast. For Friday, sunshine mixing with clouds. A shower with thunderstorm popping up in the afternoon. The high 87 on the coast, 93 inland. For Saturday, partly sunny, high 85 at the coast, 93 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
All right. 60 minutes after 11 o'clock. Gosh, it's beautiful out there. Doesn't get any more beautiful than
West Coast and East Coast have beautiful weather right now.
Is it sunny out there yet, Shari, out in the West Coast?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right, good.
See, told you.
So let's start with the. We'll just talk about the book specifically. Where did you start for the book? How did you come to the idea of writing the book?
After I studied the scriptures and after I observed how misunderstood was Islam and how they misinterpreted. Religious leaders probably in Iran misinterpreted because I think these young people who are trying to chop American people's heads, I don't think they realize that there was no America when Muhammad was alive or when Quran was written years after he died. What is this anger they have? The first thing that Muhammad is showing us is not to be angry. God sent Muhammad for people who were violent. He says that. These people are violent. I sent you to change them. What happened when Muhammad died? The person that he wanted to succeed him was his nephew. But he didn't become a Khalif because Abu Bakr, who was the governor and his father-in-law and was rich and powerful, he hijacked Islam. He took over Islam, and that is why now head of ISIS al-Baghdadi calls himself Abu Bakr. That's not their real name. Abu Bakr and Omar are assumed name because they're trying to reinvent Caliphate.
Did they rewrite the Quran?
No, well, they didn't rewrite it because since Quran has been recited, cannot be rewritten. It's been written in a very, very complicated Arabic way. Translation really does not do Quran justice. I could not understand translation in Farsi. In English was much more understandable, except for the fact that you have to realize, you have to read all of these books objectively, because these were written by men.
Okay, so if I read the Quran right now, the translation, what you're saying is that, and because a lot of people will quote to us passages from the Quran that clearly don't sound like a peaceful nation, even though the people I know who are Muslim are not war lovers at all.
All the bloodshed in all the three scriptures have been for unbelievers. The word jihad should be obsolete because we don't have any hardly people who don't believe in that there is one God. The word Islam means believing in one God. Muhammad disowns in Quran the phrases and the labels. He calls them just words that they are equal to unbeliever. Phrases of Christianity, because Christianity did not exist when Christ was alive. He was a Jew. His last supper was a Passover supper.
Sure, yeah.
The word Judaism is not, we should not, Muhammad is disowning it to be used as a religion different than believing in one God. And of course, the word Muslim. So he believes that, and he says in the Quran that people who use these phrases as they want, this is basically segregating and separating the Abraham's religion, that he says all human beings must submit to the one God.
Sharifi Brown is our guest. The book is The 7 Commandments for Happiness and Prosperity, and the phones were ringing.
Well, you're getting to that. I have a question for her.
But I guess they bailed out, so nobody's on the line right now. If you want to call, you're welcome to.
Yeah, what advice do you have for people that are out of work to be happy? How does that convert?
Well, they have to not lose hope. If they follow the 7 commandments, if they attain happiness, I know the most difficult commandment is the fact that, if you're out of work and you don't have money, because violence is not something we confront every day, but every day we confront hunger, and we need to have a roof on our head every night. But if you do whatever is necessary, I am not saying to sit back and say, God will help me. You do what's necessary, and then surrender to God. Do not lose your faith. Faith is the most important thing. It's one that you're not born with it. You have to work at it. It's not a natural behavior.
I think it's why we're here. I think we're here to learn to be faithful.
Yes, we have to learn to be faithful, and when you have done all you can, you have to surrender to God and let Him help you. And I promise you it will happen. Over 2 months of following the 7 commandments religiously, you will see that your life, you will see the change.
Shari, let's take a phone call if you don't mind. Good morning. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on the air with Sharifi Brown.
Thank you for taking my call. That's a terribly interesting interview. However, it's almost impossible to hear your caller. The voice volume is very low. Please boost that if you can.
Oh,
very
okay.
interesting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I have boosted it as much as I can. Shari, maybe you can do something on your end. If you could just speak a little bit louder or closer.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell us what the 7 commandments are.
Are you asking me, or
Yes.
somebody was asking me a question?
No, he was asking, the caller was asking me to raise the volume, and I can't do it any more than it is.
If you're on speakerphone, pick up the headphone. If you're on speakerphone, that would help.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Don't-
No, I'm not on speakerphone.
Okay.
That is a little better, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the first and most important
Oh,
commandment
beautiful.
is believing in one God. Have total obedience. Realize that He is supreme power, and pray to Him every day. And you have to have faith that He is since He is the most powerful, limitless power that He has, He can help you. And you would want Him to back you up. So believing in Him, having faith that He would grant your prayers, that's the most important.
Okay.
Another one, yes. Do you want me to tell you all 7?
Yes, I do, Shari. Yeah, go ahead.
One is word of evil, jealousy, anger. Everything that is negativity has to do with evil. So if, for instance, how to ward off evil, if somebody comes to you and he's angry for no reason, you have to look at that person as if they have a virus. You don't want to catch the virus. Don't react to their anger with
I like
anger.
that.
Just forget it and pass by. You would feel the exhilaration of how easy it is to forgive and not getting yourself all worked up because somebody unjustly. You have to leave the revenge to God.
That makes
not
sense.
Try to get back. That's important. Then you have to believe in the hereafter. That's self-explanatory. Everybody every book of God is telling us God is trying to communicate to us about the hereafter and the fact that this world is temporary. It's just to test us and test our faith. And at the end, we're all going to die. We can't take any money with us, any possessions. It's all about how we live in this life that would decide our destiny and our fate and how our afterlife would be. Stealing is one of the commandments of all the prophets.
What is?
Steal. Don't steal, because when
stealing.
you
Okay.
steal money or from someone, or you steal their spouse, which doesn't belong to you, it's almost like you are deciding for God. Okay, that $25 did not belong to him, it belongs to me. You take the money.
Right.
That's what God doesn't like. He wants us to worship him, understand him, obey him, and recognize.
Yeah.
And be the most important thing that Jesus Christ said is contentment. You have to be content with what you have.
Do you in India? What's the religion? The Hindi religion?
Hindu, yes.
Yeah, they believe in karma, and I think in Christianity they call it the law of reciprocity. But it's the idea that if I steal $25, then then my car is going to break down or something, and I'm going to owe. Do you believe?
Well, I assure you that you pay a price, and I don't mean you want. There is no way, because of the balance of the universe.
So there is karma.
No way. There is definitely karma, and you pay it. And if you look back, you will see the way they pay is way more than what they took from you. What they take from you.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Especially if you forgive them, it's going to get replaced. But the price they pay is not really worth it.
Yeah. The book is called, I don't know if we're going to have enough time for all 7 of the commandments. The book is called The 7 Commandments for Happiness and Prosperity. Is it easy for you to follow the commandments? For
me, yes. It's becoming part of my character. I was actually in one of the interviews, they said that, why do you, it's hard to forgive your enemy. And I explained that when Jesus Christ says forgive your enemy is because it says in the Bible, if you hate your enemy by the same amount and measure of the hatred you have towards them, their sins are going to be forgiven. So if you want them to get the maximum punishment, forgive them.
That's pretty funny. Do you know, in a conversation with an atheist I had a long time ago, I was asking about the 10 Commandments, and he told me that he agrees with all the commandments except for the first one. In other words, he doesn't believe in God, but he believes you shouldn't kill. He believes you shouldn't steal. So I mean, atheists who really are deep thinking people, probably except for the God part, they probably agree with everything you're saying.
Yes, and if they live a righteous life, again. Everything else, all the laws in all these 3 books, other than the commandments, either have been modified or improvised by people who were copying the handwriting of other people. It's really branches of the tree. You have to stick to the trunk of the tree. Now, if an atheist believes everything, I have heard atheists like Ayn Rand, they talk about evil, but you can't believe in God. You can't not believe in God and believe in evil. It's not possible. If they don't believe it and live a righteous life, more power to them. I wouldn't just show off about it
Shari,
by putting down God.
Shari, we are enjoying our conversation, but we have to come to an end. Give us a website so we can get the book.
The website is Shari, Shari, at T as in Tom, dash S as in Sam, dash F as in Foundation .org.
Okay.
Shari at tsf.org.
Okay. think that's the email address, but 7commandments.com, I think, is your website, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Okay, all right.
7commandments.com. The book website is 7commandments.com. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for being on. That was fun.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. The Middle East grows murkier. Airstrikes in the Syrian city of Aleppo kill at least 27 overnight. As Syrian and Russian forces attack, Syria is denouncing the arrival of 150 more U.S. troops there as an act of aggression. Meantime, Vice President Biden makes a surprise visit to Iraq to deal with the political crisis there. The U.S. economy puts on the brakes from January through March, only growing 0.5%.
Since the recovery began almost 7 years ago, the GDP has been weak in the first quarter of each year and rebounded in the spring. Economists believe the same will happen this year.
Fox's Jenny Cosola. And a brain-injured Georgia man is suing Snapchat, claiming the social media's feature that tracks a car's speed caused a teenager to crash into him. That teen reportedly trying to reach 100. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Today's forecast for the inside of your vehicle, sponsored by WeatherTech. A 90% chance